Could you imagine an animated documentary being taken seriously?
Personally, not really. When I think of like documentaries, I think of like real people, real things like actually there rather than like animation. I get that it could still be about something that's really happened, but I just see it more of like a cartoon. I'd probably automatically, if I didn't know it was a documentary, I'd probably just think it was like fiction because of it being animated and like cartoony maybe.
Yeah, I agree because it would look a bit like a children's story. It wouldn't really look as professional if it was done with live action and yeah.
Yeah, the majority of animation things I've seen are just related to children's things, so no serious topics.
Okay, have you ever seen a Draw My Life video on YouTube?
No, I haven't. I don't know what it is.
No.
Oh yes, I know.
It all started off on June 6, 1990. I was born in Hilo, Hawaii, a small town where I grew up. I was lucky enough to have two loving parents that I look up to even till today. I also have an older brother who I've always felt competitive with my whole life. He was always better than me in everything. He would beat me in challenges, competitions, video games. Anyway, in elementary school from kindergarten to 5th grade, I really don't remember much. All I can remember is that I hated judo and I had the hugest crush on a girl. Not gonna say her real name, but let's call her Nicole. So this is the part of the story that most of you don't know about because I never really addressed it publicly, but I know a lot of you watching this can relate. So I got bullied. A lot. You know, nothing really crazy, just your typical getting pushed down to the ground, being made fun of for no reason. And that I'd actually make excuses to my mom why I couldn't go to school, or why I needed to change schools. So I was hating life at the time and wondering why someone so mean could be so popular. Every time they made fun of me, I ran with it, and I made fun of myself even more than they could. Kind of like that last rap battle that Eminem did in 8 Mile, except that movie didn't exist at the time, so he pretty much stole my idea. I was back at square one. I had a few acquaintances, but little to no close friends. Even the kids I considered nerds had friends. They had each other. In my mind, I wasn't anybody. From that point on, I felt like a completely new person. I didn't feel like a loser anymore. I felt like I could get anything I wanted in life as long as I put the work in. By the time high school was over, I was lucky enough to earn a state championship wrestling title, and just like my brother, second in the state for judo, even with a dislocated elbow. I had lots of friends, most of which were fellow wrestlers. You might recognize some of them from my videos. I even had a girlfriend. No, not Nicole, someone that I thought was even more beautiful and perfect for me. Oh, and those videos I made for my family every Sunday, I decided to start putting them on this website called YouTube so I wouldn't have to physically bring them a copy. And little did I know, a few other people found them and started sharing them as well. Before I knew it, I was consistently getting thousands of views every day and comments kept telling me to do it, so I did.
So now that you've seen what we're aiming for and what we mean by animated documentary, does that affect your opinion at all on it can be a serious subject?
Now that I've seen what you mean, yeah, like I do think that it could be done and it could work well for a documentary, but it like totally depends on the quality of the drawings and the animation. Like if it's like really, really good quality, then I'm probably gonna be like more interested, where if it's just like stick men with like little clothes and stuff, then I probably won't be, like it will be less serious.
Yeah, I agree with the quality of the drawings. It'll make it look a lot more professional and it will be taken more seriously. So
Also depends on what the narrator is saying.
Here it is, Draw My Life. I had a tough time making this because, well, I have to tell my entire life story under 20 minutes. I can barely remember what I did yesterday. So this will be a very brief summary of my life. I would love to... Hi, my name is Avalanche, and I could potentially kill you. Nice to meet you. So that's me, an avalanche. 4 months later, I was born. Year of the Rabbit. My welcome party was lovely. My mother told me that when she brought me home and placed me in my crib, my brother thought I was a toy, so he literally jumped and slammed himself on top of me. Apparently, I stopped breathing and my mother thought I died. Anyways, that's how I first met my amazing brother, Steve. I was never happy when I was home. Turns out, my stepdad wasn't the father I dreamt of. This is something I'd rather not talk about. But my mother was the best. My mother said enough was enough, and we all left him. We packed up our things and went to find a new home. It was just us again, but it felt right. Just like old times. We didn't know what was going to happen, but we knew that we were going to walk together. My childlike spirit never died. I found that very thing that takes me to a happy place. It was art. And to others, it could be music, writing, video games. Whatever it is, finding that special thing will help move you forward. Kind of like a lotus flower, finding sunlight in muddy water. We all have a story to tell, and we are all part of something beautiful. To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world.
So a brief synopsis of our documentary will be telling the story of one person's struggle with depression due to a bad upbringing and just the problems that they faced in their life. Would you be interested in seeing that story in full detail?
Yes.
Why?
I think like just hearing people's stories and like hearing people's struggles can be like it's something that everyone's interested in a way, because I think as well like when it gets told in some ways you kind of get sucked into it and you kind of feel like you're going on this journey with this person, and I think it can be like quite a submersive topic, like quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you learn more about a person's life and what they've been through and what, you know, you could relate, and yeah, it's just interesting. So.
Yeah, as teenagers, we've all kind of probably at one stage or another been through that sort of depression, so we would connect with the character a bit more and want to find out.
Would you prefer to see a male or female character in this role?
I'd probably prefer to see a male, because I'd like, I know it's a bit stereotypical, but I'd expect to see like this weak character as a female. But I think, because I think, you know, females will always like show their emotions more and stuff, but to have this guy telling his story of depression or whatever and opening up would be more like endearing, I think, than a female doing it.
Male, because as a female, you know, you kind of are able to relate, but if it's from a male's perspective, then it could be slightly different and more interesting to watch.
Both. I'd like to see it from both point of views, because I'm assuming they'd both be different, so I'd like to see both.
Segments to chop it up.
I think if it's all like drawing, it'd have to be kept quite short, just because I think it could get a bit, not boring necessarily, but you haven't really seen the face of the actual character, and it's just harder to like keep interest maybe. But if you have like a short section of like live action, it will like break it up. Also, you can see the face of the character, so you know, like you kind of feel more.
I'd say both, because it's nice to have like a mixture of the two. Yeah.
Both, because I think animation will keep it quite interesting.
In this documentary, would you prefer to see it all in this drawing style or some of it with live action?
I think the animation make it interesting, but I also think the live action will break it up. So I think you should have it like beginning, end, and then you also get to see the character's face and relate.
Oh yeah, both live action and animation. It'll be a nice mix. So.
I think the animation will be more intriguing to watch, but the live action will make it seem more real, so definitely both.